Today, we're diving into how one single brand managed to conquer two totally different worlds. We're talking about Adidas and its incredible journey from the Olympic track, pure performance gear, to becoming a global streetwear icon. I mean, just think about it for a second. In one corner, you've got this high-performance sportswear, literally engineered for champions. And in the other, you've got trend-setting fashion that's defining what modern style even looks like. Adidas doesn't just play in these two sandboxes, it pretty much owns them. It's a brand built on this amazing duality. So, yeah, that brings us to the big question for today's explainer. How on earth did they do it? How did one brand get so good at mastering two completely different worlds? Well, let's pull back the curtain and look at the strategy behind that iconic status. All right, so to really get the fashion icon part, you have to go back and understand the athlete. The whole brand was literally forged in the heat of competition. That performance DNA, it's the bedrock of everything Adidas does, even today. It all kicked off way back in 1949. And from day one, the mission had nothing to do with fashion. Nope, it was a laser focus on one single goal, making the best stuff for athletes. That's a 70-plus year legacy that gives them an authenticity you just can't fake. And honestly, this is the most important part. Before Adidas was ever cool, it was credible. Its entire identity was built on a really simple, powerful promise. We will make the best possible equipment for you to perform. That foundation is what gave them the permission to expand later on. So how'd they make that jump from the stadium to the street? Well, it definitely wasn't an accident. It was a super carefully executed game plan. So let's break down 3 key plays from the Adidas playbook that really fueled that huge expansion. Okay, first up, the product playbook. And this is so much more than just making shoes and clothes. It's all about making the right products for the right people, and, this is key, at the right price. The genius of this strategy is really twofold. First, they have a massively diverse product range. And second, they use a tiered pricing model. What does that mean? It means whether you're saving up for your very first pair of Stan Smiths or you're a collector hunting a super rare item, Adidas has something for you. This really lays out the strategy perfectly. At one end of the spectrum, you've got these timeless, accessible classics for everyday budget-conscious shoppers. But at the other end, they create all this hype with exclusive, limited edition releases for the luxury collectors. It's just a brilliant way to capture the entire market, top to bottom. All right, let's move on to play number 2, the culture connection. This is how Adidas stopped being just a product you buy and became a major player in the whole cultural conversation. They pulled this off through some incredibly smart partnerships. Sure, it started with athletes, which just reinforces that performance credibility. But then, they expanded into these high-profile collabs with cultural icons. Think Run DMC, think Kanye West. That move embedded the 3 stripes directly into the DNA of music, fashion, and pop culture itself. And that brings us to the third and final play, the innovation engine. Look, a brand can't stay on top for over 70 years without constantly pushing the limits of what's possible, not just in its tech, but in its marketing too. A perfect example of their tech is Boost cushioning. This wasn't just some new foam, it was a total game changer. It offered this unbelievable comfort and energy return, which made their performance shoes so ridiculously comfortable that people just started wearing them every day. That single technology perfectly blurred the line between athletic gear and lifestyle fashion. And they paired that awesome product innovation with really modern tactics. They use super sophisticated digital marketing and create massive hype through that exclusive drop culture. That's how they've stayed right at the front of a super fast-moving digital world. So when you take all 3 of those plays, product, culture, and innovation, and you put them all together, what do you get? You get this powerful, complete transformation. The brand had successfully made the leap. And the result is exactly what we see all around us today, a total and complete success story. The 3 stripes went from being a simple mark of an athlete to a global symbol of style. It's a staple of modern streetwear, worn everywhere, all over the world. So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, the legacy of Adidas isn't just about making great stuff. It's about a core philosophy that masterfully blends 2 really powerful ideas: performance and style. This quote from an analysis really just nails it. The key is their ability to adapt to what's happening globally while still holding on to who they are. Adidas somehow manages to ride these huge waves of change without ever losing sight of its core. That balance, that's the real secret to its lasting influence. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. In an industry that is always, always moving, for a brand that's already mastered both the stadium and the street, what could possibly be the next frontier? It's a fascinating question for a true global icon, isn't it?